Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, sa lahat ng mga participants po from our different divisions at sa mga participants din po natin from the general public, hindi lamang po dito sa Zoom, kundi pati po sa mga viewers po natin in our Facebook live stream. So welcome to this month's episode of CFO Migration Talks.
Thank you for joining us today, whether you're watching from the Philippines or from the other parts of the world. Our talk this afternoon is all about young leaders and how the youth can help build a better and more inclusive world for Filipinos everywhere. I am Marilinda Santos.
And I am Angeli Luis Cando. Will be your hosts for this afternoon's Migration Talks titled YouLeaD as Voices of Change.
Building inclusive and empowered Filipino globally.
The CFO Migration Talks is a monthly public lecture series aimed at deepening the knowledge of CFO personnel and the general public on key issues related to migration, diaspora engagement, and their vital role in national development. Today's session is actually our fourth installment, and we are excited to feature one of the CFO's programs, the Youth Leaders in the Diaspora, or YouLeaD.
That's right, Ange. The YouLeaD program is a cultural immersion initiative of the CFO for Filipino youth born abroad or those who migrated at an early age and want to reconnect and rediscover their Filipino roots. YouLeaD also aims to help them answer long-standing questions they may have about their identities as Filipinos or part Filipinos living abroad. The program also seeks to deepen their connection to Filipino culture, language, and traditions.
To officially start our program, let's welcome the chairperson of the Commission on Filipinos Overseas. Please give a big round of virtual applause to Secretary Dante King-Ang II. Sec.
Good afternoon, everyone. So where are the youth who will dedicate their strength to the good work of the country? Where are the youth who will lay down their lives for the honor of their people? These are the famous words of the Philippine national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, in his 1891 novel, El Filibusterismo, in search of the young men and women who are willing to serve and dedicate their lives to the nation. As the government agency that links permanent migrants to the Philippines, the Commission on Filipinos Overseas has heeded this call through the implementation of the YouLeaD or the Youth Leaders in Diaspora. This program provides young people between ages 16 years old to 30 years old of Filipino ancestry with an avenue to reconnect with their roots and foster stronger ties with the country. At the request of Filipino organizations overseas, Philippine schools overseas, and the initiatives of embassies and consulates, the CFO offers an in-depth exploration of Philippine history, language, and cultural practices through lectures and guided tours that aid our youth in their journey to rediscovering their Filipino identity. Later this year, we aim to collaborate with various Philippine diplomatic posts in New Zealand to implement a YouLeaD module and host a YouLeaD forum to provide the future leaders of the Filipino diaspora with an avenue to learn from various resource persons, build networks, and ignite their passion for Filipino culture and heritage. We hope that you will join us this summer. For more information, please contact Ms. Marilinda Santos from the CFO's Project Management Division via her email address, msantos@cfo.gov.ph or pmd@cfo.gov.ph. Today, we are joined by exemplary alumni of the CFO's YouLeaD program who will share their journey in the field of pageantry. Having recently taken part in the Miss Universe Philippines pageant, they will share how their experiences have become platforms to celebrate Filipino culture and identity in their respective destination countries. Under the leadership of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., we hope that this discussion serves to elevate the conversation for our young people who wish to dedicate their lives to the nation. We hope that the young people tuned in today learn much from our guests and that you will be inspired to join CFO's YouLeaD program in the future. So let us look forward to a meaningful and productive discussion. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat po, Secretary Ang, for that inspiring message. At this point, we are thrilled to introduce today's guest speaker, which is a true embodiment of global Filipino leadership.
She is a former CFO YouLeaD Australia participant in 2023 and 2024 and part of the top 24 finalists of the 2025 Miss Universe Philippines representing Lucena and the Filipino Society in Sydney, Australia. Beyond the sash and stage, she is a passionate advocate for quality and accessible education for vulnerable children.
Let's all give a warm welcome to Ms. Renee Isabella de la Cruz. Hi, Bella. We're so happy to have you here and welcome back to CFO. Although we're only virtual today, how are you feeling today?
Hi, Ate Anjali and everyone from CFO. Thank you so much for having me here. And it's wonderful to be back. The last time I came here was probably in 𝘖𝙭𝙪 was last year under the lead of Secretary Leo Arugay. But yeah, it's so nice to be finally back and to share my experiences of the wonderful YouLeaD program.
Thank you very much for that, Bella. Before we delve into the interview proper for these migration talks, may we request all Zoom participants to please open their cameras. Let's have a photo opportunity first with our esteemed guest, Ms. Bella, and Secretary Ang. Okay.
We'll wait for your cue po, Ms. Floor Director. Thank you. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smile. One more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smile. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bella, we're so excited to have you with us today. Let's start with something close to heart, your personal story. What was it like growing up as a Filipino-Australian navigating two different cultures?
Yeah, for sure. I guess navigating two cultural identities as a Filipino-Australian wasn't always easy. I often found myself when I was young slipping in Tagalog words at school. We only celebrated multicultural days such as Harmy Day once a year. But other than that, there was very, very little education around Filipino heritage, especially in Australia. So I often felt that there was a very strong disconnect. I didn't really feel fully Filipino or fully Australian. And I later actually came to understand that there was a term regarding this experience, and it actually means the word diaspora, which is a meaning where people are away from their homeland and they face complex identity challenges. Despite this, my passion for my heritage really grew only because my parents always instilled in me, values of our tradition, such as speaking the language at home, going to church, attending different fiestas and parties, and we really celebrated every aspect of the Filipino spirit, and I really wanted to dive deeper. So before entering pageantry, I was involved in youth church groups such as Filipino church groups such as Youth for Christ. But really, it was only after winning Miss Philippines Australia, my connection to the Filipino community really deepened significantly. So Sydney, as some of you know, is actually home to the largest group of Filipino population in Australia. And I had the privilege of engaging with remarkable Filipino Australians, ranging from lawyers, doctors, and community leaders, such as seniors of groups such as 𝘲𝙗𝙗, which I am actually part of. But one thing really stood out for me. So whilst I saw that, older generations really celebrated Filipino identity, many young Filipino Australians felt very disconnected or even, hesitant to embrace their roots. So that's one of the observations that really inspired me to help lead, the first Filipino-Australian YouLeaD program. And as you all know, it's an initiative designed to empower the youth diaspora around the world to help rediscover their Filipino identities, which I'm happy to talk about more later if you guys want.
So thank you very much, Bella. And it's very nice to hear that even at a young age, in your home, in the comforts of your home, you were able to connect with the Filipino culture. You were able to immerse somehow with the Filipino culture through the efforts, of course, of your parents and those related to you there in Australia. So actually, Mara, it's very it's always powerful and not to hear these kinds of stories that reflect both the struggle and pride of our Filipino diaspora. Um, Actually, my question now is, which you have already mentioned in passing earlier, is your inspiration in joining the YouLeaD program. So can you tell us more about it, Bella?
Yes, of course. I do love that question. So when I was actually in college, I went to Chicago for my exchange, for my university exchange. And there I actually met a very, very passionate group of students called PSA, or the Filipino Student Association, which is actually the largest group, largest Filipino association, youth association in America. So I was really moved by their pride, you know, the love that they had for being Filipino. They were so inclusive. They were, you know, learning Filipino dishes, learning folk dances, speaking Tagalog together, and even creating, you know, Tagalog merchandise, to the point that their passion was actually inspiring other non-Filipinos to join this Filipino association. So I was meeting Koreans and Vietnamese people joining the Filipino association. So, you know, I really wanted to be able to bring that energy and pride back to the Filipino youth in community in Australia. So I first joined back in my association, Filosoc, which is the Filipino Association in Sydney. I became the deputy secretary, and I really worked hard to be able to organize, you know, more cultural and community-based events such as boodle fights, tinikling dances, and Tagalog workshops. I'm proud to say that some of our efforts really were able to boost some youth participation and build stronger cultural participation. But I really hope to be able to extend this movement by facilitating with different Filipino university groups across Australia, as well as governments, to help incorporate them in the Diaspora initiative. And then, yeah, after that, it really helped inspire me to be able to reach out, because I was able to meet, during my Miss Philippines Australia charity tour, I was able to meet 𝐷𝐷𝐿, Ate Marian, and Ate Mayumi, who I think 𝐷𝐷𝐿 is still here. And they were very, very open and supportive of helping me expand this program into Australia. So yes, under the launch of Direct Rosemary and also 𝘖𝙑𝙪𝙘, I was able to help launch the first ever Filipino-Australian youth project in Australia. And yeah, that's the story of how it all happened.
It's very nice to hear that the different communities, youth communities from Chicago. For those who don't know, PSA was also a partner of YouLeaD, a longtime partner of YouLeaD, and they are planning to actually have another YouLeaD implementation in 2026. So it's nice to know that the idea that the experience of one group inspired another group and then continues to inspire more people. So this is really the vision of YouLeaD, to connect youth overseas with one another and back to their Filipino heritage. Now, Bella, thank you for that sharing. But I want to know really when you joined YouLeaD, rather, what were your biggest takeaways? Were there any turning points or realizations that shape your path that you took today, you joining the pageant? Were there any instances that helped you arrive into that conclusion that I can further my advocacies because of what I saw in YouLeaD?
Yeah, definitely. I think after joining YouLeaD and also, you know, bringing a group of fellow Filipino Australians to the Philippines, I really saw the love and deepened appreciation that they had for their Filipino roots. Some of these people have never gone, you know, to the Philippines before. And Ate Marian was also talking about, I heard you also led another Korean project also, who actually don't even speak Tagalog or English. And, you know, after seeing these children get really connected and see their identity, also knowing that they're Filipino, reconnecting to their roots, it really, really, you know, helped inspire me to help further my advocacy. Because when I was Miss Philippines Australia, my advocacy was helping the youth reconnect to their culture, so that they may also help inspire future generations to keep our culture alive for many generations. And, you know, I've been able to bring that passion with me, not only in Miss Philippines Australia, but also on a national stage in the Miss Universe platform. So yeah, I definitely think that the YouLeaD program definitely not only inspired me, but so many different cultures and societies around the world, as you said, in Canada, Korea. So definitely this program is very, very rewarding, so impactful and very inspiring. And I can't wait to help, you know, further this also around the world. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Bella. We know no, that being a Filipino youth abroad comes with unique challenges. So not everyone has the opportunity to have um, direct connections or have the privilege to reconnect to the motherland. So, Bala, we want to know, how did YouLeaD help you cope with these challenges and help you feel more connected to your Filipino roots?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a very good question. So, as you said, I think being a Filipino youth abroad, it really comes with so many unique challenges. One of the biggest ones I would say is the disconnect. We're rarely taught about Philippine history in our schools, and it can make us feel a very sense of, a difficult sense to be able to connect with our Filipino identity. So, I guess um, the YouLeaD really helped me and other people rediscover and reclaim our cultural identity in meaningful ways. The project is so multifaceted. It hits so many different stones. If I were to remember what we did so many things. We were able to be visited by lecturers from different universities, and they taught us Filipino classes about history, culture in Tagalog. And I know that so many of our participants really loved that because, they were starting to use those Filipino Tagalog words outside when they were ordering for Jollibee, and they were so, so happy with themselves. We were able to visit, iconic cultural sites such as Intramuros, Binondo National Museum, try out the different food and be immersed with the culture and community, and see the natural wonders such as La Union. So I definitely think that after this, it really ignited everyone's passion again about being Filipino and having that strong sense of pride and identity for our culture. So I think YouLeaD definitely was able to help us in that regard. Thank you.
That is very nice. When I was talking with the previous YouLeaD organizers, which is Rosel and RC and Marian and Mayumi, they were sharing that your group was small, but
Yeah.
you are all very excited to partake because these are the things that are not readily available there. Unlike in let's say in North America, there is though a little, there is a representation there, but in Australia, there lacks representation for the Filipino community. So Bella, let's shift gears a bit. Now you've brought your advocacy to the pageant stage. Again, congratulations on that momentous feat of yours. We're very proud of you. The question is, what led you to join Miss Universe Philippines, and how do you see pageantry as a platform for leadership?
Mhm. Sure, that's a good question. For me, I wanted to be able to help push myself outside of my comfort zone. But I guess I would really say that my primary motivation for joining pageantry really was the platform that it provided for us, help amplify meaning to my advocacy. So pageantry, as you guys know, offers a really unique opportunity for young girls and young people to be heard and seen and to connect with communities. And I really wanted to be able to spread, my passion. And through winning titles such as, Miss Philippines Australia, Miss Universe, I was able to really promote my two core advocacies, which is, as you know, reconnecting the youth with their culture and also promoting education to everyone, sustainable education, especially for those vulnerable children who don't necessarily have access to education, which YouLeaD during our program was also able to champion because through that project, we were able to collaborate with different, volunteering associations and visit orphanages to help, donate some of our, gifts towards them. Because, as youth, we should also be able to be used as leaders to show that we have, impact, that we can create change and meaningful change on other people and other communities, not only here in the Philippines, but other places in the world. And yeah, I guess pageantry has, really allowed me to be able to promote those advocacies and also be able to represent my Filipino communities and societies of Lucena and Sydney. So I guess that's one of the main and major reasons why I joined pageantry.
Thank you very much, Bella. No? So you have two particular advocacies, main advocacies in culture, the Filipino culture, and the advocacy, very important advocacy in an accessible and quality education especially for the vulnerable children. So, how do you turn your ideas into real actions in your community?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess, well, for my first advocacy, I was able to collaborate with, the CFO to be able to make such an impactful first ever Filipino Australian cultural immersion program. And I'm very, very grateful for that, being able to turn those ideas into reality. For my other advocacy, which is quality education for all, as an economist, because I really believe that everyone deserves access to quality education. Turning those ideas into reality, I was able to found my Bella Book Foundation, which actually started off from a joking idea from one of my mentors, because I used to be donating a lot of my books, extra books that I had for me and my siblings, towards the charities and as well as the tutoring organization I was with before. And then she said, why don't you kind of like do this, change this into reality? So, after the help of other people also, I was able to create this Bella Book Foundation where we're able to donate books as well as other educational tools to vulnerable societies and communities. So one of them is the Mace Sisterhood Foundation. So they're actually a group of nuns here in Australia. And my mom I didn't actually know, was actually supporting them for over decades and years. So I was able to go and visit them and donate our books and also deliver inspirational talks. And, it was so inspiring to be able to, make impactful change. And also, visiting other orphanages with which I was able to meet through CFO, seeing the impact that we had. These children have no other people to help them, and the fact that us as student leaders were able to help make an impact. And, it's just small things like books and pencils that everyone has. So, just from little ideas, you can help make sustainable and long-term impacts in real life. So, yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that, Bella. Truly, small contributions make big impacts and lasting impacts. This is your advocacy of sustainable education for all is really well lauded, and the commission is very happy to support these advocacies of yours. You've truly become the beacon of youth leadership. What do you think is the role of young people, especially those in the diaspora, in promoting inclusivity and building stronger global Filipino communities?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. I think, youth leadership is such a powerful force for inclusivity because you lead by example. When young people step up and take initiative, other people see and it inspires them to do the same. So you kind of send that message out that no matter what your age, background, or starting point, you can really lead and make a difference in anything. So one of the impactful examples was, as you said, the Philippine Student Association, the fact that they had so much love and pride for their cultural identity. Even people from other nationalities were joining. And it also helped inspire me to be able to, lead the CFO. I lead the CFO YouLeaD Diaspora program in Australia, the first ever. And yeah, just showing that you can lead by example. It's not just about representing; it's about empowering others and helping them feel included and inspiring them. And as you said, Atamara, it's that sort of ripple effect. And if you can do that, you never know, it could extend globally. And hopefully, as youth leaders, we can continue to share our stories and our beautiful heritage around the world for many generations to come.
Finally, Ms. Baleno, what's your message to the young Filipinos tuning in today, especially those who may feel unsure of their identity or hesitant to lead their fellow youth?
Yeah, for sure. I think my message to the youth is I really encourage you all to step up and get involved. It doesn't have to be big, whether it's through school programs or community outreach or volunteer work. You should know that even though we're young, your voice matters, and you can really make a difference. And programs like these, such as YouLeaD, are really great starting points because it helps create a sense of community and a sense of purpose. But even outside formal programs, you should know that leadership for youth isn't about titles, it's about action. It's about showing up, listening to others, hearing their voices, and working towards something that's greater for yourself and your community. But also, you should know that you should create, I guess, impact with empathy and by understanding people's struggles, centered on community and equity, and knowing that your voice is heard, because everyone um, has a voice and deserves to be heard. So I guess my message would be, use your voice. Everyone has a very unique story. Own your story. Step up into roles, into leadership. Not because you have to, but I guess the world needs you, especially for the youth diaspora. You have such a strong voice and a strong story. And I guess together, hopefully we can all continue to work towards a more inclusive community, and build a future where our culture, our Filipino culture, is celebrated. And hopefully we can all continue to be leaders around the world. So yeah, sorry.
Thank you very much, Bella. You've shared so many insights today. And I actually agree with what you said about the youth, that we should act. And we have a significant role to play for significant changes in our society, and for a true development in our nation. So I just remembered, Mara, when I was still in my younger years, we were told by our professor that the youth is a very important sector in our society. Especially the youth is not just a catalyst for change, but they are one of the drivers for change, because the youth they are young. So when you're young, you have more energy, and you have more energy. Let's accept that. Let's accept that of the older ones, like me right now. Iba talagang energy if you're still in your youth age. The youth have more time to study, and the youth is more sila yung may drive for a significant change in our society. So having them heard right now is very important. So it is very good, and it is very I'm very happy that we have Miss Bella right now, one of a very good example of youth leaders making impact not only nationally, but in the global scale. So thank you very much, Miss Bella, for that. And at this point now, we'd like to open the floor to some questions from our Zoom audience.
Just to add, no, thank you so much, Bella. Really spoken like a true queen. And I just want to connect it with one of my favorite quotes: "Be the change you want to see." So yeah, here in YouLead, youth don't have the resources yet, but small steps like these help push forward our advocacies and initiatives. If you have any questions for Bella, the Zoom is open, as well as we are also live on Facebook. So if you have any questions for our resource speaker, you may comment on our Facebook Live, or for those who are here in the Zoom meeting, you can actually put your questions on the chat box. I think there are
maybe
questions in the... Yes, sir.
I can start things off. Thank you, Bella, for sharing your experience. You mentioned some of the things that you experienced while you were here in the YouLead program. I was just wondering what you liked the most, and maybe, reflecting on that experience, what can CFO do to make it an even better experience? I'm just soliciting some ideas and how we can continue to improve things.
For sure. Hello, Secretary. Lovely to meet you, online meet you. That's such a hard question because the program is so great overall, and it's so hard to choose just one thing that would be my favorite. Maybe I'll do it in two parts. I'll say probably the favorite part of the participants, and I guess maybe my favorite part also. I think for our participants, well, firstly, starting for everyone, just covering the project in general. It's such a multifaceted project. I really highly encourage every single Filipino youth to be able to join, because it hits so many aspects. The cultural side of it, you get to be culturally immersed to different communities, as well as learn about the Filipino culture. You visit historical sites such as Malacanang Palace, Intramuros, and learn the language, and also taste the extremely delicious food. as well as visit some of the natural, beautiful wonders that Philippines has. So I guess that would be the favorite of some of the participants. They really loved it when they visited La Union, which I think is very, timely with all of the young people. They really liked climbing the waterfall stairs. I don't know if you guys ever share story. It's so funny. As you said, of course, we're all young, but I think Ate Marianne, who was leading our project that time, all the kids were like running up and down the stairs, and then she was like, "You guys go." She was so tired. It was so funny. But I think that was the favorite part of the kids, even though it was very hard. But as you know, through tough times, you get great rewards. So at the end of that, road, we were able to see the most beautiful waterfall ever. And, we're so grateful that CFO was able to lead us there. I think the kids would love to, experience some of the more natural beauties of Philippines, such as, different sites. I think one of them said they wanted to try see Boracay or something because they've never gone. But I guess for me, personally speaking, I really, really enjoyed the visiting of cultural sites and heritage and learning about our language, because seeing the passion ignited in these students when they were, getting the Tagalog sentences words right, and it extended beyond the classroom. They were using it outside the classroom, at Jollibee or ordering stuff. I really loved that. And if I guess maybe we could see different or be immersed in different schools, even to, connect with other young Filipino students in the Philippines, I think that would be so insightful to some of these children also. So I guess those were some of the favorite moments out of the many favorite moments I had in the program, and some of the, I guess, tips and tricks maybe to make this 100% amazing project into 110%. So yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a question from Ms. Joanna Tisha Bautista of CFO Extension Office in Davao. Ms. Balaw, you've had the chance to work with the diaspora networks like the Filipino Society of Australia. How important is collaboration among global Filipino youth, and what has that experience taught you?
Yeah, for sure. I think being in touch with global Filipino youth was the starting point of my passion when I met other people. So when I joined the Filipino Student Association in America, that helped ignite my passion. So, it's so important for the youth to get connected and involved in your community, because you never know the rippling effect it might have on you or someone else. And it's so important. And after I was, connected to that group of diaspora, I was able to start and continue my own one in Australia by joining the Filipino Student Association in Sydney, and becoming the secretary there, and helping organize different workshops and so forth. And I hoped that it was able to help inspire other Filipino youth, which I know and have heard that they are going strong now. So I'm very, very happy with that. And I hope to be able to collaborate and connect with more Filipino diasporas, not only in Australia but around the world. And I highly encourage everyone, every Filipino youth, if you have the opportunity, please reach out to CFO. They're so welcoming, so patient and kind. And they are more than happy to be able to help you, with our shared mission of, strengthening the Filipino youth leaders of tomorrow. So yeah, thank you for that question.
Thank you, Bella. We have a question from our Facebook Live from Ms. Lindsay Mercado. As someone who straddles two cultures, how do you envision yourself as a bridge between these communities?
Yes, for sure. I think really so that is my advocacy, being able to help become a bridge to help the youth reconnect with their culture. And I think the first and biggest thing foremost would be using my voice. I've been able to use my voice and advocate for my advocacy on different platforms such as Miss Philippines Australia or Miss Universe. But as I said before, you don't have to have a platform. You don't have to have titles to be able to, create impact and spread this message. You can do it just by being passionate yourself and getting involved in your local community. But yes, that's how important it is. Sorry, I forgot the question halfway, but yeah, I guess that would be my answer.
You actually answered it earlier,
Oh.
just expounding on it. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay.
Angeli, any other questions from our participants? Oh, sorry, Angie, you were on mute.
Sorry for that. We have question from Ms. Graciel Paginto. Looking ahead, how do you plan to continue your advocacy work? And are there specific projects or campaigns or partnerships that you're excited about?
Yeah, sure. So that's a great question. As I said, the Diaspora project is what part of one of my advocacies, and which I'm very, very passionate about. And I really hope to be able to, connect with local universities and societies in my community back in Sydney. I'm going to hopefully work towards that, but also, help create more robust foundations and relationships with the government, also hopefully with the Philippine consulate in Sydney, because I do have had the honor to be able to meet them before, and they have actually voiced their interest and support for this program. So hopefully, if we're able to, continue relations with them further, we're going to be able to hopefully create it and establish it more, so that we can continue this Diaspora project in Australia and hopefully in many more countries also. So yeah.
Well, Bella, we're open to hosting another one of YouLeaD Australia implementations. Now we have a question via Zoom from Ms. Darlene Mason 1. Thank you, Ms. Bella. Very insightful talk. I have a question lang po. What challenges have you faced while practicing your advocacies, particularly in your advocacy for quality and accessible education for vulnerable children?
Well, that's an interesting question. Challenges with my advocacy. I guess the major challenge before was that I was in Sydney. So I guess that geographical, sort of distance. But I realized that if you work together with passionate people, you're going to be able to overcome any barriers. And we realized that you don't have to go overseas to be able to help create that impact. You can also do it virtually, or connect with other groups that share your same passion and connect with them. And the beauty of being online now is that you're able to connect with anyone at any time. So, I was able to overcome, I guess, that geographical boundary through technology. And I hope to encourage all of you also, no matter what barriers you think you're facing, if you're able to work together with other like-minded and passionate people, you're going to be able to, overcome that and help create the impact that you want to create. Because if you have something that you are passionate about, please do go for it. Because the world does need you. Highly encourage everyone to step up. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Bella. Another question from Erica Laguna. Erica Laguna is one of our CFO personnel from PPRD, also in the Extension Office in Davao. So how do you stay grounded and connected to your Filipino roots while living in a multicultural society like Australia, especially when life gets busy or overwhelming?
Yeah, for sure. I think that is such an important question. And I struggled with that, before, as a youth. I think it was mostly because I was shy, and I was too scared to be able to approach different people. But for me, really, by staying grounded and connected, the way that I did that was by joining different communities. So in Australia, there are different Filipino communities there, such as PASC, which I'm part of, PCC, the Sydney Senior Sonata Singers. And if you're able to, join those, you're able to meet such amazing people in the community who teach you about Filipino culture. The Senior Sydney Sonata Singers actually invited me to different fiestas and different programs that they had, and I was able to learn so much. And I really hope and want to encourage all other youth also to help, join other Filipino organizations if you have access to it. But if not, you never know, you might become a leader yourself if you establish one too. So there's always that opportunity also. So yeah, that's how I did it. Thank you.
Now we have another question from the Facebook Live. This one's from Sonny Espiritu. How did the program, YouLeaD program, influence your perception of the Philippines and its people?
Yeah, sure. I've always had such a positive outlook on the Philippines because of that love instilled in me by my parents and my family. But going to the Philippines and experiencing it firsthand, you really get to see the beauty of the culture. You get to see the warmth and adaptability of the people, they who don't even know you but treat you like family. Like that Bayanihan spirit, I was really to experience firsthand, and seeing the amazing beauty, the natural beauty Philippines had, such as, La Union, and also our beautiful historical sites. It really brings it to life, the culture, the rich culture and thousands of history we have. So, I guess it just enhanced deeper my appreciation for the Philippines and our culture, and strengthened my love for it and passion to be able to promote it to the world. So yeah, that's what happened.
Thank you very much, Miss Bella. No, I think culture and Filipino heritage is really one of those things that really connect every Filipino, wherever we are in the world. No, so this is the last question for this afternoon, no, for this open forum. This one is a question from Miss Bianca Dato in Facebook. What values or lessons from Filipino culture do you think could benefit the global community?
I think Filipinos are so strong and multifaceted, and we are such a multifaceted community that I definitely believe that we have so much to offer the world. And there's so many different values and aspects that we have, such as, our resilience, hospitability, bayanihan spirit. But I think for me, I would really say it's so hard to choose just one, but I would probably say the resilience of the Filipino. The Filipinos are probably one of the most strongest communities in the world. Even when they have nothing, they have the biggest smiles on their faces. Even when they have nothing, they want to offer you what they have, and they treat you like family. So that is definitely something that I'm very, very proud of, being a Filipino and getting that instilled in by my mother and parents, and seeing it more when I was in the Philippines, seeing people who had nothing showed that they have everything as long as they're happy and healthy with their family. So that's definitely something that I would love to be able to share about the beauty of being a Filipino or Filipina around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Bella. We have one more question, one last question. Pahabol. This is from our colleague from CFO Baguio. Hi, Bella, on the lighter side of things and asking for a friend of a friend. With everything you've achieved at such a young age, academics, socio-civic work, advocacy, and now pageantry, has love found a way into your busy life, or is that a chapter still waiting to be written?
That is definitely on a lighter note, and such a funny question. Well, as a Filipino, my mom was obviously very strict. She really wanted me to finish education and graduate. And after that, as you said, being involved in community during my reign as Miss Philippines Australia and Miss Universe, I didn't really have the time for that before. But I'm very, very open. Char. Very open, and who knows, we'll see. I'll update you out there when I go back or in the Philippines. But yeah, very open too, and no closed doors. I was just focused.
See, Bella definitely picked up Char. All right. Thank you very much, Bella. Miss Angeli.
Thank you very much, Miss Bella. Thank you to everyone who participated in our open forum. Once again, thank you, Miss Bella, for your thoughtful answers to those questions. As we close today's CFO Migration Talks, we'd like to take a moment to honor our guest speaker, Miss Bella de la Cruz, with a certificate of appreciation on behalf of the Commission on Filipinos Overseas. So we want to present this certificate of appreciation to Miss Renee Isabella de la Cruz, who served as a resource person during the CFO Migration Talks titled YouLeaD as Voices of Change, Building Inclusive and Empowered Filipino Globally, held on May 28, 2025 via Zoom session, given this 28th day of May 2025 at the Commission on Filipinos Overseas, Barangay Paligsahan, Diliman, Quezon City, Philippines. Signed by Secretary Dante Francis M. Ang, the second chairperson of CFO. We'll also send a physical copy of the certificate to you, as well as the tokens that we prepared for you as well.
I really appreciate Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to be able to share my experiences, and hopefully, it helped other youth also become encouraged to be able to use your voice, because you're all so important and have a story. Thank you so much also 𝘑𝙤𝙀𝙀 for organizing, of course, Secretary Dante. Thank you so much for having me today, and I hope to see you more in person also.
Bella, thank you again for your time, your heart, and your inspiring message. You truly are a voice of change for Filipinos around the world.
Thank you. Ooh, Ate, I think you're on mute.
Angeli, I think you're on mute still.
Ayun. And to our ayun na, ito na talaga ang totoo. And to our participants, whether you're based in the Philippines or across the globe, thank you for joining us, and we hope you're leaving today's talk inspired, empowered, and ready to lead. Today's session reminded us of something very important. That first, the youth is a significant prime mover for change. And second, wherever we are in the world, we can always be proud of our Filipino identity. Miss Bella's story as a Filipino Australian showed us how embracing our roots and using our voice can truly make a difference for our communities.
We learned how CFO's YouLeaD program played a pivotal role in shaping Bella's leadership path, connecting her to her heritage, her values, and her purpose. YouLeaD is a platform to discover who we are and what we can do for others.
We also learned how pageantry is not just about beauty or titles, but also about advocacy. It's about representing the Filipino voice, raising awareness, cultural pride, youth empowerment, and showing the world what it means to be a global Filipino.
To all our participants, especially the youth joining us today, we hope Bella's journey inspires you to stay connected to your identity, speak up for what matters, and take the lead in creating positive change wherever you are in the world.
On behalf of the Commission on Filipinos Overseas, thank you everyone for sharing your valuable time and joining the discussion. This has been the CFO Migration Talks, reminding everyone that no matter where you are in the world, you are part of the global Filipino story. Mabuhay ang kabataang Pilipino, mabuhay ang global Filipino. Hanggang sa muli, marami pong salamat at magandang hapon po. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Miss
so much,
Bella.
Bella.
Thank you so much also. That was such a beautiful message, so inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. May we request everyone to please open their screens again kasi may mga hindi nakasali kanina. Ayan po. Open po natin lahat. Yes. Okay, one. Wait lang po. 1, 2, 3, smile. One more. Waki po. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay na po. Maraming salamat po and thank you, Bella. Thank you, Bella. We hope to meet you soon again.
Yes, I'm alumna. Thank you,
Thank you very much, Bella. We hope that we can have future collaborations with you as well.
Love that so much. I'll work here to be able to connect it with the European government. Be supportive in it, so hopefully we can, make that a robust and relationship.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll keep in touch, Bella. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy your day. Have a good day. Hope to see you all.
You as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.